Muy buenos días y bienvenidos de nuevo todos a Cybercamp 2015. Arrancamos con el segundo día de ponencias y lo hacemos precisamente con David Pérez Conde, quien lleva más de 15 años dedicado plenamente.
Okay, and he has been working in advanced security services for 10 years now. He's got a degree in telecommunication, he has written books, and he has given training on cybersecurity, and he's one of the few professionals who's got the Jack Security Experts certificate. And we also have Javier Pérez García. He is an IT expert, 18 years of experience in ID technology. Together with David, they founded IJAC in the year 2013 when they developed highly technical security services and training. So hello, good morning to all of you. How are you doing this morning? What would you will tell us about today? Well, thank you very much. And it's a pleasure to be with you today. We will be discussing 3G. Well, 2G, we know for a long time now that it is highly vulnerable. 3G is slightly better than 2G, but still there are some vulnerabilities, and we'd like to share that with you. Well, mobiles have two sides to them, okay? They have an OS that you need to be protected, but then the second part is about communication, communication from mobile phones. Okay, yesterday we were a bit scared and frightened about mobile phones, computers, laptops, and yesterday we also heard about the possibility of hacking cars. Okay, will you be frightening us as well today or not? Or you will be just telling us, training us? Well, you have to be really aware of the risks, okay? It's not a question of getting afraid of it and not using technology, but just being aware and using technology wisely, okay? And, well, I always give the same example. You go to an ATM. An ATM could be kind of dangerous, but, okay, you just don't get your money and then you just wave it and show it to everyone, okay? You have to be careful. We have to use technology. You have to be well aware of the risks, and that's as much as you need to do. Okay, for those of you who are not on the here, the auditorium, so we have a box here, and we can encourage you to come over here. They told us that there is something in that box, and if that thing would not be in that box, that thing would be illegal. So I would kindly ask you to come to this auditorium so that you find out about what's in that box and what you can do with it. Could you please anticipate it? Something for us? Oh yes, that's the Faraday box. All the electromagnetic radiation that is emitted doesn't come out. And why do we do that? Well, because the frequencies that are used for mobile telephony have proprietary, so we cannot really emit those frequencies, not in the open space. And if we do that, we will be replacing Movistar or any telecom operator. So we are not lawyers, but we believe that if we were to do so, that would be illegal. And then everything that will happen over there will be just generating a number of flaws in the mobile phones of the audience. And that's why we will be doing everything in there, in that box. Okay, we can rest assured, everything in the box, no problems with the mobile phones of the audience, okay? And, well, we are here. Anyone who would like to come, they are very, very welcome. Okay, so you have the floor. Good morning, everyone. My name is David. He is Jose. Okay, we are colleagues and we live and work in Valencia. We founded our company, IJAC, as you can read on the screen. So we do technical security services, and we also do security research. For instance, we have researched communication of mobile telephony. We were passionate for it, and we believe that is very, very important because we are all the time interacting with the telephony. Now 6G is being tested, okay? So today we are here to share 3G with you. We know that 2G is very vulnerable. Well, the cryptography that is being used is broken. With and without cryptography, you can do many things. You can do interceptation. You can listen to the traffic, whether it is being encrypted or not. You can listen to GPRS data, everything. You can manipulate those data. Well, we'll tell you what false-based attack is about. So you can be in between the communication of the victim. So everything that is sent out to the network can be manipulated and otherwise. So you can also do user's identification. Each SIM card has a code, has an ID. We refer to it, it is a unique ID code for that SIM card. So if anyone could see the unique identifiers of those SIM cards, they could know who is in here. Okay, you can do that in 2G, and we've known that for a long time. Geolocation. Once you detect a smartphone that you really want to know exactly where it is, you may know that it is around, but you may want to know which specific home that mobile phone is. You can do it. You can do it perfectly all right in 2G. And then denial of service. In mobile communication, any wireless communication is always acceptable or prone to have denial of service. You can do it through jammers or through signal inhibitors. They generate lots of noise, and then you cannot really tell the signal apart from the noise, and then you can do denial of service. That's one way to do it in Wi-Fi, but there are other ways to do it, very many ways to do denial of service. And as I say, all that about 2G has been known for a long time now. And an attacker, to do that, perhaps many years ago, needed high investment to do so. However, now you can do all that with a hardware, which is €1,000. So you have everything that you need, gadgets that you may buy on eBay, on the internet, with at the very low cost. You can do all those attacks. So the attacks we are discussing today, well, today we will be talking about the classical attacks, the false-based attacks. They have been there for a long time, because in 2G you can do a full attack, and that is simple thing to do. Well, you can do attacks in telephony or using false telephones. But today we will talk about only false-based attacks, okay? We will start by summarizing and giving you an overview about them. So, this type of attack, we have an attacker that simulates or pretends to be the telecom operator, Orange, Movistar, etc. Actually, the operator is not relevant. The attacker can pretend that he is one of the legit operators in the country. And what does the attacker has to do to pretend that he is the operator? Well, first of all, he has to locate itself in a position or in a location close to the potential victim. If I want to attack you, I am in the right position. Why is that so? Because the base station that I will be using has limited scope, okay, limited strength. Okay, so I have to locate myself in the best location to attack my victim. Once I'm in that location, what do I need to do? Well, I have to resolve a problem. I have to configure myself so that the victim, my victim's telephone registers itself in that cell. And if I don't do that, I may be emitting a signal, but if I don't configure myself rightly, the victim will never register his phone against my cell. Okay, so we are emitting like if we were a false cell. That is to say, a cell that does not exist, because we want the attacker to register itself or himself against ourselves. And when that happens, okay, we refer to it as camping in ourselves. When that happens, the 2G communication of the victim become and go under the control of the attacker. Full control. So what does that mean? We can manipulate that, we can do denial of service, we can redirect communications. We are talking about data and voice here, any type of communication. And as we are saying, well, this is well known. Other researchers as well as us have been giving presentations about that. We've been in Black Hat. All right. Okay. Right. So interceptation, manipulation. We've been giving presentations about how you can do those attacks. Okay, we gave presentations across conferences and talks. Okay, all this is for 2G. However, when it comes to 3G, can we also do these false-based attacks as well? Well, initially, in the beginning, we thought that it was not possible to do it because we thought that when that was designed for 2G, so it was needed to have the authentication of the mobile phone against the network because the operator needed to know who was making the call just to charge for that call. However, in the standard, they did not include just the opposite. That is to say that the mobile had to prove that the network had to prove the identity, not only the mobile phone. So it is very easy to set up a station to say that you are Movistar, and then the mobile phone will believe it because the mobile phone doesn't have a way to check whether that is true or not. However, in 3G, when they decided 3G, they added a two-way authentication. So both the mobile phone and the network need to prove to each other who or that they are their identification. And then the ciphering or cryptography of 2G is broken. Okay, that is to say that someone has gotten the key to decipher or decrypt communications, but in 3G, cryptography has not been broken. If something is encrypted, you cannot really do any tricks in there. So with those two things, that is to say, two-way authentication and a non-broken encryption, can we still do a false-based attack of... Well, you may think that you cannot do it, but if you read the standard, the norm carefully, we notice that most of the messages are encrypted, but not all of them. So those that are not encrypted, so we looked at the things that we were doing in 2G that could be taken over to 3G, and then in 2013 at the Rooted, we gave a presentation. We said that easy catching, which is user identification, could also be done in 3G. Geolocation, you could also, we thought that you could also do it. Denial of service or jamming, that also works. And we could see that it was also feasible in theory for 3G. And then also saying to a mobile phone, okay, instead of talking 3G, now please change to yourself and go to this false cell in 2G that I have here ready for you. And then we said, okay, all that is possible for 3G. However, at that time, we didn't have this hardware or software or the time to do the testing. And this is what we will be showing you today. And as we were saying today, the first problem that the attacker has to resolve is to determine how to configure his cell. And before we do that, let us go through how mobile phones decide which cell to connect with. Well, mobile phone is not all the time scanning the radiographic spectrum to determine which is the best one. Okay, they do not do it because it will take up lots of battery and time and CPU. Once a mobile phone is in a cell, before decides whether to change to another cell or not, gets a signal message that he gets from the cells. It says, monitor these cells that are around you. The mobile phone does that and measures the power of those cells. It measures the power of the cells that the tower tells him to monitor. And what does the mobile phone does? Well, then does a ranking and says, okay, first, second, third cell. So when the first cell of the ranking has a higher signal or stronger signal than the signal that I'm getting, I will switch onto that cell. This is quite simple. All mobile phones do that, and some mobile phones have an engineering module implementing that. So this is the Samsung that I have, and I'd like to share with you that ranking that I just mentioned. Okay, I'll show you the camera. Okay, I start the camera now. All right, the camera is in the cell. We'll show you the infrastructure later on. Okay, this is, okay, do not close it. This is the ranking of cells that the mobile phone is seeing. It's ranking the cells and it says number 1, number 2, number 3. This is dynamic. This is ongoing. And this is how mobile phones work all the time. Did I understand myself? Did I make myself clear? Did you all get it? All right. What is that for? Well, one of the things that we have to do in our full cell is the frequency in which we will be emitting. So in 2G, knowing the frequency is very important because as you can see here, there is a range of frequencies. Any of these could be of interest to us, and then choosing the frequency is important, okay? However, in 3G, well, we could also have overlapping frequency, but in practice, in 3G, each operator uses 2 or 3 frequencies. So therefore, basically, we could say that each of these frequencies could be good for us. However, in 3G, thank you to mathematics and orthogonal codes, well, several cells could emit in the same frequency, that is to say, overlapping in the same frequency. So therefore, we have to be aware of the code. So that's the primary scanning one, and we need to know that code because these are the 2 main parameters for us to configure our false cell. And where do we get that information from? Well, the ideal solution would be to have a sniper listening to all the traffic so that the traffic that is not encrypted could be listened. We did that in 2014. We came to the modem or router part. It's a hard work and it is in progress. We are working on it. So we do it out of, it's kind of a hobby for us, okay? We are working on it and we don't know when we will finish. And what is the alternative solution? So we don't want to talk about workaround, okay? We prefer to say alternative solution. Alternative solution is getting a mobile phone, and to extract that information, we will be using the messages that this mobile phone, only this mobile phone, is exchanging with the cell. So those messages go to the cell, okay? That's the XCall tool. And then it says, I have identified this message. I did not identify this message. So all these messages are being transferred onto White Shark. So White Shark, okay, for you to see, well, some activity in this mobile phone, okay, let us go to Google, let us do some search engine, just let us do a search, and here these are the control messages that we see in that White Shark. And what did we do to get that information? Well, instead of doing that manually and to extract it from Wireshark, we just did parser. So when we do it online, okay, as we will be showing now, the initial cell takes some time for us to get to it, okay? So engineering mode tells us about the frequency, hexadecimal mode. Okay, give me a sec. Okay, I had to include the function. So this is what we are doing online. Well, we are getting messages. Okay, these messages are taking some time to get to us. Each dot is a message. We are parsing it and we are transforming it into the type of information that we want. We will be doing that quick so that we do not lose any time. So, and these are the results of that characterization. These are the active cells of our mobile phone, and these are the cells that are candidate cells to being false cells. Well, we don't want to use these ones because they are being used. These are being used. These are being used. So therefore, we want to use a cell which is not being used, okay? So half an hour before we started this presentation, we configured our false cell with one of these values. We could also do that online. We could stop that capture. We could save it in a file. And we could use our parser, our program, and information is extracted from that file. The information that is extracted is much more comprehensive, okay? Because it has been doing so before even we started the presentation. Okay, this is the alternative solution about how to configure the false cell so that the mobile phone tries to connect to our cell. And what do we need? What do we need for that?
For this paper, participants to cheat with a very simple laptop. Let's see if we can do it ourselves. To do with 3G, let's show us. Is the montage we're seeing at the stage. We need a PC with the software, MTC. We also need some specific hardware, which is a well-defined radio software, which is a device that sends out signals and receives these signals. All the processing of signals is done by the PC you are connected on software. We use the USB 200, and with the PC, with this well radio defined by software radio, we can do all this. We also use this Faraday box. We'll see it in detail. As we said before, if we send out this signal into the air, we'll be infringing and trespassing the law. But the attackers don't care about trespassing laws. But we had been commanded, we are not going to jail. We are good guys, especially when in front of you on the spotlight. No, that's not good stuff. This Faraday box, there's no radiation getting into this box. Everything inside happens inside, period. We are not sending out signals into the space. So let's put it in the very first spot on screen. This is a very normal PC that is useful for presentations. This is a normal PC with Linux and the OPT 4G software. It's a very simple laptop, no secrets at all, nothing behind. The USB is connected with this device, which is the URSP 200, a radio frequency software defined thing. And this sends out and receives signals through these connectors over here, which are the exits into the antenna. Two antennas connected on these outlets, and we have connected some wires coming into this side, the panel of the box, in such a way they are connected. And inside we can see the two antennas connected. Inside the two antennas connected, and here we can see the victim mobile phone in the middle. Here we go. And to operate it, it's like an incubator. You lock the incubator. It's totally isolated. To operate inside, you got some crystal and some gloves. Very simply, this incubator. Let's see. It's a really incubator. We need the gloves, and we can check out. We can manipulate the mobile as the cage is totally closed and shut down. As we said, this is to do so in a legal way, in accordance with the law. We want to avoid the legal issues. In reality, with two simple antennas well connected, this would be feasible. So far, so good. So let's now proceed with the very first attack on 3G. It's a live show. Very simply, it's a very INCIBE catching attack on 3G has been done for many years now. We need to know if in our radioelectric space, our outreach surrounding a spectrum has an INCIBE. INCIBE is an identifier given to you by the operator on your SIM card. INCIBE is associated with your SIM card. So this prepaid card associated with ID, but in most of the countries, the INCIBE identifies you as a person. For this reason, the INCIBE catching is considered to be sensitive information because it determines if you have been in various places at certain moment in time. So if you are precisely here, as of today, on this spot, I check out if you are on this premises, I can attack you. So this is very sensitive information. We extract the info from one or several mobile phones within the radioelectric space, which is now inside the Faraday cage. So far, so good. So we should stop this. We're going to stop this. And now, like I said, we're going to extract basically in this base station. We can see this is the octagonal primary code appearing on the possible list of candidates. We choose some of them randomly. This code belongs to the country's operator, or countries are given the 07 Movistar operator per countries. So this does not depend on the operator. This is the band, one of the neighboring cells reporting by the mobile phone, the 900, and one of the very few cells used for phoning. So this configuration, this software is marvelous. The 3G radio station software is super cool. If it gives us problem, we restart it. So with very simple commands, we switch on the radio equipment. This is the driver from the radio station, and we're going to start to signal out with this configuration. This mobile phone is in service? Yes. Let's check it out. We see it's reporting 3G, so it has a legitimate phone service. We're going to close the cage and the phone will stop receiving the legitimate signal. If the attack is configuring the false base station can work on actual and real environments, we're going to do it within the case due to legal restrictions. You can see the image on screen within the cage, because inside we have a webcam installed connected through USB to a connector. As the antennas are connected, which is the USB cable connecting with the camera, you're seeing what the webcam is telling us. I'm shutting down. I lost my coverage, and we are emitting a signal with this configuration. I need to take out everything. Sorry. Let's wait for some moments, please. Can you hear me properly? I got a call here. There is no coverage, little bars telling us, okay. So far, so good. So the prohibition signal appeared on screen. We have captured the INCIBE from this terminal. INCIBE is my own INCIBE. It's sensitive. It's my own INCIBE. I'm giving out my own info for you to use it. If somebody wants to attack me, the INCIBE catching attack is totally feasible. We knew it, but now we had proved it to the test in the practical. It's totally possible on 3G and 2G as well. So we're stopped emitting and to open the cage again. So far so good. Can you open the cage, please? With this, let's imagine the case worst scenario. This is not the real scenario. An attacker interested in knowing who is here will be walking around with a backpack inside without knowing ourselves, and he is selling out transmissions. He is compiling all IMSIs from all mobile phones in this room. To be honest, as we are super experts on this, we haven't done anything regarding this. So somebody setting up this software on his PC, but we're following the protocol. We accelerate all the configuration of the base station for this process to be successful. If you are attacking indiscriminately with IMSI catching, it can be done by anybody else. Any internet users can do IMSI catching randomly and freely as well.
Ha vuelto a coger cobertura.
So far so good. This mobile phone got the coverage again. So let's move on to the next attack model. It's a dangerous one. Is the denial of service attack. For mobile phones, at the very beginning, perhaps the denial of service was not that important, but today is so important. Denial of service in current mobile phone is relevant for emergencies. We need coverage to receive, to call somebody, to connect with data. The most important thing to send WhatsApps, of course. WhatsApps. We're using mobile phones to send out WhatsApps all the time. Service is a must. Service have to be with us. But the mobile phone service, there are so many ways to deny the service. The most typical and rude way is what they call inhibition of frequencies. We take the inhibitor, we send out electromagnetic noise into the atmosphere, and this is it, period. With this, we deny the service. So we cannot be selected when attacking. I cannot say, okay, I attack you and not the others. I cannot be selected. It's not also a persistent attack. If I switch out my inhibitor and the denial of service stops working. And of course, the user can see that there is no coverage. We saw that the prohibition sign again. There is another attack, which is the exhaustion of radio channels from the base station until they are run out. But I need to do so. So it's not persistent and selected. One possible and likely attack on 2G, if I inhibit a tone, a beep, this is the denial of service, because the user thinks I have a service, but I don't have it. I am sending this code to a black hole. This can be a massive attack or a selective attack. I can say, okay, this IMSI is attackable and the other is not. But it's not is transparent because the user knows that they must have a service, but it's not persistent because the base station needs to have it. So some 2 years ago on 2G, there is a kind of attack with an effect triggering in a massive and selective way. Besides, it's persistent. I go there. If I deny the service to you, you stop having the service. For when? Depending on your terminal, until you put it on open mode or until it is reinitiated. But you yourself, in many cases, and some of the cases depending on the phone, that the phone tells you, okay, you have coverage, because when you are calling somebody, the phone tells you, okay, I cannot proceed with this phone call. So this kind of attack has some implications that we'll see later. So what's the main part, technically speaking, of this attack? Very simply, when the phone tries to register itself in the station, I can accept it or deny it. If I accept the phone, I'm giving service. On 2G, I can accept it, but on 3G, I cannot do so because on 3G, acceptance is encrypted and protected. I cannot accept it. But both on 2G and 3G, I can refuse it because refusal is not protected on encryption. So on the refusal, we can see a code, a refusal code. I refuse you because I don't know you. You are a strange IMSI for myself. Or I refuse you because you are an illegal mobile phone. What does the phone do when it's an illegal mobile phone? The standard procedure is to verify that the phone must have a stop service. The mobile phone must stop working without service. This simple technique is used to deny the service to a very specific particular mobile phone or several others. We can put an INCIBE filter or not. So this is the current technique in use, in place for. What do we need? As of today, we knew UMTS on 2G or 3G. There is no configuration parameter to select the refusal code. So we need to take the software to modify it lightly to refuse it with this specific code we have implemented. With a very simple code modification previously done. Let's see what happens. This is a mobile phone which is now in service, and instead of starting the radio-based version, let's start a different release, which is named. Please shut down this cage, please. Otherwise, it could be able to refuse any of you. So let's wait for the mobile phone to register. Is reporting there is little coverage inside the room. There's no coverage now. This is what the mobile phone is reporting as. The mobile phone is going to register very briefly. Wow. We got the prohibition signal coming in. No, it's not fixed. It's not fixed. This prohibition signal is not fixed. Oh, it should be there. Just a sec. 1 sec, please. So far, so good. Please, one more sec. You can see the log, which tells us that as of today, the 28th of November 2015, at 10:46, this is the information given to them. 1 sec, please. Pay attention to the mobile phone. The mobile has coverage, as it says, but this 3G thing vanished. You can see it has a coverage, but the 3G signal has disappeared. But the user wouldn't notice this. Let's now open the cage. Please, open the cage. We are not signaling out. We are not sending out signals. Now let's open the cage for the mobile phone to get coverage again. Let's see if our mobile phone has coverage. In a while, the mobile phone will tell us it has coverage again. It's reporting that it has coverage. The mobile phone says I have coverage because this coverage is only for doing emergency calls. If you call 112 or the country's emergency number, the protocol specifically goes through another channel. You make an emergency call even though you have different operators. It's thought of for this purpose. Even though you have, even you don't have a SIM card, you can do so. So let's proceed. Let's call yourself on this agenda. If you remember, you have to press this button. It's right to do so. When calling, we are not sending out signals. The attacker has gone. Nonetheless, the mobile phone says, I have no coverage. Until when? Until you put it on open mode or you reinitiate the mobile phone. Let's see that we didn't break the terminal. The mobile phone is now operational again. Let's see if it's on plane mode. If you press the button upper right, where can I say it? In the middle of the screen. Here we go. This is plane mode. I change the plane mode and it goes back to the thing. I'm out of service, but in little seconds, okay, you can get H+, so we got the voice and data connection. We tried to make a phone call. We got service again. And please press down the button at the bottom. This is the block on the screen, but the call is currently being done. So far so good. Let's proceed. Yes. The phone call is not going to reach us because it's a plane mode, not to disturb you during this presentation, but now the phone call is being projected. I can suppress the plane mode if you want to. It will be registered and it will be beeping and sounding the moment he gets the phone call. We want to show you to our disappointment when we check out for the very first time, when we shut down the radio on the mobile phone, we put on the plane mode and we reinitiate the telephone, it gets back to normal. We read standard. This will be the activity for good for life, but we saw that the phone worked properly and perfectly. So it was feasible on 2G, but now it's feasible on 3G. How can we apply this technique as for good things and bad things? For the bad guys, the attacker that want to deny us the service can go with a car having this radio station, strolling around the city. He wants to target an event. by applying this technique. The attackers moves around with their car and denies services to all people with the operator sending out signals, or different operators or mobile phones connected with different operators. On the attacker on his car can specifically target me, can deny me my service specifically on me. But this procedure can also be done by good things. This application scenario, for instance, a bomb, explosive device activated through mobile phones. If we want to securize an area, we want to display frequency inhibitors on that area. Another option, more operationally, for specific circumstances, we can have this service. We can run around this area and deny the service on this area. So we'll get a fabulous, reasonable security, especially if it's a conventionally non-modified mobile phone on it. Baseband, we can deny all the mobiles on that area unless the attacker reinitiate the mobile phones manually. The attacker wouldn't be able to activate a bomb or an explosive. So many applications with these mechanisms. So it's very interesting for us to know that this is into existence for the people to know how to protect against these menaces and threats. So far so good. We have shown today that out of the previous things, checking out the rules and standards feasible on 2G are now insecurity and denial of service selectively and permanently or semi-permanently doable. We have tested to you that is absolutely workable. What else are we doing? I cannot show you now. Regarding geolocalization on 2G, we constructed a system that allows us on the screen, gives you the position of a telephone, the INCIBE, or the SIM code card. You put it on a car, so on that area you will be driving around this area until detected, and gives you the geolocation coordinates where supposedly the target was situated. As you drove around, the estimation of the targetable thing was exactly determined. There are some parts of the standard procedure that allow the carrier to ask the mobile phone, okay, where am I? And the mobile phone says, this is my GPS geolocation. But can we find mobile phone, even though trying not to answer these network questions, not revealing their GPS coordinates? This was based upon the GMS standard, not on geolocalization specific services. Regarding geolocalization, feasible for 2G is also feasible for 3G. We're trying to implement it. Let's see how we can get this time estimation database to get the triangle of our mobile phone. So regarding 2G, selected downgrade to convince a mobile phone instead of 3G. Not now. Please connect yourself to these 2G cell because it's going to give you marvelous service. This is a selected downgrade to this mobile, yes, not to the other. This is another kind of attack, theoretically speaking. By looking at the standard, is feasible. So we need to find time to prove it and to implement it properly. Regarding the future, we have to continue with the sniffer works because it's been abandoned by us because it's so hard work. We have little time, and of course we need to study and to test this on 4G. We need to look into detail all these case scenarios, but we need to study and improve all these techniques equally feasible on 4G networks. On the black hat, they talk about IMSI catching. We can move on from 3G into 4G. The denial of service and refuses were feasible on 2G, 3G, but it's also feasible on 4G. We need to check out all this on 4G on ourselves, but it's going to work as well. Let's see if the other remaining attacks can be done on 4G, like I said. So conclusions we can draw from all of this. This is INCIBE counting and denial of services. You saw it in very practical terms, are totally feasible. The other remaining attacks on 2G about Geo Localization and then downgrade selectively. We have high expectations about that they are feasible as well. We are trying to implement it depending on our timing. And on 4G, as David told us, these attacks are also feasible and likely. This is the conclusion we can draw from our talk. Thank you very much for your time, your attendance. So if you have any questions, please raise your hands. We're free to answer your questions. Thank you very much.
Hola, buenas. Hola, una pregunta.
One question, please. Once the attack is conducted, the attacker leaves some trace, thread. There is any way for me to know if I've been attacked? I lost my coverage and I have to reinitiate my my mobile phone. Well, depending on the handset, the mobile phone. On a normal mobile phone, logs are on base bands, or they are not accessible for a user. If you instrumentalize a mobile phone to accept, you will receive a refusal code. It's very strange. It would be very funny when your mobile phone is robbed or stolen. You get this denial code. If it's your mobile phone, this refusal code is very strange for you to receive it. It would be an unequivocal indicator that either the operator got wrong or you are being attacked by somebody. So the answer, if you instrumentalize the mobile phone, you see denial code and you have not been robbed or stolen, is definitely an attack. You have been attacked. So you detect you don't have coverage, so it's not because perhaps the attack itself. Some comment from a security viewpoint would be ideal that the screen should have told you something. I got an illegal MC refusal, but so far so good. More and more the screens don't give you details on the mobile phone because the user should be worried about everyday life, not about their security. So if it's not an encrypted communication, it would be different from myself being interested in my mobile phone showing me an icon when it's not encrypted. On 2G can do so without encryption. I would like to. So we saw it in former old mobile phones. We got a lock open when the communication was not encrypted. This was in our mobile phones. So modern mobile phones, smartphones do not notify about these security issues, unfortunately. Regarding some phones, we can configure. Okay, I'm only accepting 3G service or 2G, but other mobile phones don't allow us to configure specific and accepting 4G, 3G to avoid doing a downgrade to G from 4G, getting non-proper communications. Once IMSI is codified, can we duplicate and can we put ourselves on a receiver mode in such a way that when the original is transmitting, you can see it as yourself. You can see the messages on your own being sent out to you from the original. Is it feasible? Very interesting question. My answer is no, you cannot do so. With the INCIBE, you got the user's identifier. So you will be able to know where the user is located when you are around that, because the INCIBE in the very end tells you. But this does not allow you to duplicate the user himself, to pretend pretend or impersonate the user. You cannot listen to the real communications the user has with the network. You cannot pretend to be the user with a simple IMSI. That's not feasible. If you want to have service on the network, you need to tell the network, okay, I have this IMSI, but I need also to prove that I'm the owner of this IMSI with a channel response. The network sends you a random number, and the mobile phone has to answer back to you with a key, not the IMSI, a key, which is stored on the SIM card, only on the SIM card inside, and on the carrier, on the database service on the carrier. These keys shared by the two parts, and it has to be used by the mobile phone to calculate and figure out the answer. You may have the INCIBE, but since you don't have the shared key shared inside, you cannot give out a valid answer. But you can also perhaps get this key in such a way because there is a broken cryptography, and you are listening to the dialogue between the mobile phone and the operator. So with the session key, here you can tamper with the mobile phone and impersonate somebody. On 3G, there have been attacks where you could get the session key without breaking the cryptography, but with queries SS7. If somebody infiltrates in this network and the operator tells you the current key in this session with this thing on 3G, they can pretend not to be the victim. But the IMSI is not enough. You also need the keys through other methods. Sorry, please use the microphone. There is no microphone in use. We cannot hear the question, unfortunately. There is no microphone in use. You said before about the certain packages to deactivate a bomb. If the attacker or the terrorist configures that I have received a package, can you know if the package is correctly configured? Inhibitors would be the only way to know. In this case, you cannot know that. To do so, the attacker needs to have the control of the baseband, not about the operating system on the mobile phone. What is running through the chipset specifically on mobile phones is freeware. If you control the baseband, you can program that. Otherwise, not. So it's only feasible with this protection measure to the normal phones where users don't have access to the baseband. Please, there is no microphone in use. Interpreters cannot hear the question. My question is, when you clone an operator with a SIM, the IMSI and the keys are the very same on the two SIMs? Very good question. My answer is no. What is unique for you as a user is your phone number, but the phone number does not appear on the SIM card as IM card. There is an INCIBE on the SIM card and a secret key. The operator takes another SIM card with another INCIBE and a secret key, and they write down and tells you this now belongs to Mr. Joe name. They allocate this on the database, and the phone number that is going to answer to this IMSI is the very same as previous. The IMSI is not the same, the key is not the same. The very same thing is that on the operator's career database, where they said Pepito Perez IMSI is, I take it out and I put in the new IMSI onto the new SIM card. Did I answer your question? Yes. Please, there is no microphone in use. Interpreters cannot hear the question. Last question? No more questions. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. A big round of applause. Let's dismantle